Welcome back to Yesterday Now, This Week in History, where the past is always present. If you love stories that shaped our world, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment. This week, we're taking a trip back to early May, 1945. The scene? Europe. The sound? Gunfire giving way to cheers. And the headline? Victory in Europe. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, raging across continents for 6 brutal years. By May 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing. Adolf Hitler had died by suicide on April 30th. The German military was in shambles. The Allies, the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union, were closing in fast. On May 7th, 1945, in a small red-brick schoolhouse in Reims, France, something huge happened. General Alfred Jodl signed Germany's unconditional surrender to the Allied forces. It was witnessed by Allied Supreme Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower's team and broadcast across the world. But hold on, that's not the only surrender. The Soviets wanted their own moment of victory. So, a second surrender was signed in Berlin late on May 8th, this time with Soviet General Zhukov present. That's why we have 2 VE days, May 7th in the West and May 9th in Russia. When the news broke, the world erupted. Londoners poured into the streets, hugging strangers. In Times Square, New York, the party went all night. Winston Churchill gave a triumphant speech. For millions, it felt like waking from a nightmare. The war in Europe was over. But, and this is important, the war in the Pacific was still raging. Victory in Europe marked more than just the end of a war. It was the start of a new world. The United Nations was founded that same year. Europe would begin to rebuild, and so would lives. The horrors of the Holocaust began to surface. War criminals were put on trial. And the Cold War? That was just warming up. So why does May 8th still matter? Because it reminds us what happens when tyranny is challenged, and what it costs to do so. Every May, veterans are honored, and silence is held. It's a history that echoes through generations, a story of pain, courage, and the power of unity. That's it for this episode of Yesterday Now. If you learned something new, or just love history, drop a comment with your favorite World War II fact. And don't forget, the past isn't gone. It's just waiting to be remembered. See you next week.